time to tantalize your earbuds with creative makers and shakers. It's Creative Living, the podcast with Jane Klaus.
This is Creative Living, and I'm your host, Jane Klaus. Now, I like to get creative really anywhere I can, and that includes, not only the kitchen and the crafter, but also the motor speedway. Yeah, I'm a big NASCAR fan. Because, I think you got to get creative when you're driving fast cars, right? You can't just turn left all the time, especially when you hit the city streets of Chicago. You're going to turn left, you're going to turn right, you're going to avoid potholes and people. And that's exactly what happened here in Chicago in July. But joining me today is the driver of the number 12 car from Team Penske and the NASCAR Cup Series Champion, Ryan Blaney. Ryan, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy I could be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Are you as excited as I am, or have you come down from Cloud 9 yet?
It kind of goes in waves, honestly, for me. The week just after Phoenix was obviously a huge high and really busy. And then it kind of, up until Thanksgiving, the last week and a half, it kind of dies down a little bit. Nice to see family. And then, we're out here in Nashville for our banquet. So it kind of ramps up again, and you get reminded, you get to see all your people. And we're still living on cloud 9 and appreciate it. And we're excited to celebrate tomorrow night here in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to talk about Nashville in just a second. Now, you've given clutch performances all season when it mattered, but let's talk about the big win. Take us back to November 5th. You're in Phoenix, at the Phoenix Raceway. It's a championship race, and your battle with Kyle Larson heated. Lap 292. Larson gets loose. You close in to take the number 2 spot. Ross Chastain wins, but you actually made it through. You put Team Penske on top for the big championship win. When did you know that you had it won? What was going on the last few laps of that race in your mind?
Yeah, I think once we got to that spot, the last handful of laps, you're just hoping that there's no caution, no yellow and kind of restacking the field, because that's when things can get crazy. So, once we get to the white, you have a pretty good idea of if you're going to do it. You just have to kind of finish it off. So just hoping no yellows. Unfortunately, we didn't have any, and we were in the spot to be able to win the championship. So just proud of the effort. Yeah, like you said, we rose to the occasion. Our whole group did, through the playoffs, and it was nice that we were able to carry the momentum that we gained through the whole playoffs, especially the second half, to Phoenix and finish the job. So it's back-to-back Cup titles for Team Penske. How emotional is that for you to bring it home for the team? Well, it's great to do it, for Mr. Penske. Roger's been such a huge part of my life for the last 10 years, and to be able to do something for him that they've never done before, in his just decades of motorsports, win back-to-back Cup titles. That's something special, and our whole group's super happy to be able to deliver that to him and everybody who works, under the Penske banner, whether it's the 400 employees at Team Penske, over the 70,000 worldwide. It's just an amazing group of people, and I couldn't ask for a better group to drive for and be associated with. And so it's nice to be able to bring that home for RP and everybody, like I said. They call me Pit Road Jane here at the radio station. Not sure if you know that, but I'm just curious how I can get a job at Team Penske. Don't tell my boss. I did not know they called you Pit Road Jane, but I'm sure we can figure something out. I don't know. I could be an asset somehow, some way. I know nothing about any of it, but I'm sure I could figure it out. Yeah. We get people that have years of experience or no experience. We'll teach them where we need to. Let's talk about your relationship with your crew chief, Jonathan Hassler. As a leader, he probably feels also like a brother to you. Talk a little bit about him and working together. Yeah, working with Jonathan, the last 2 years has been fantastic. He, and going into the 2022 season, into the winter, my crew chief, Todd, was retiring, and there was, we were on the hunt to try to find, someone else and me who to work with and find a crew chief. And he and I sat down and just kind of talked. And he and I are very similar personalities. We're very, kind of reserved, and you want someone like that. At least for me, I feel like that side you need to have a good relationship with, that person, and your communication and your lingo has to be fairly similar. And fortunately, he and I had that, and just an incredibly smart guy, really, really dedicated at what he does. He and I are great friends too, so really lucky to be able to work with him and see his success too in his early years as a crew chief. That makes me very proud, as well as everybody else on this 12 group. But yeah, working with Jonathan the last 2 years has been fantastic. Cool to get a championship already with him after year 2. Hopefully we can continue to keep adding them.
Is he on the Christmas card list?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Everybody on the team is probably, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
All right, I got to talk about the Chicago street race because we're here in Chicago. I know it was a rainy, sloppy weekend, or even the day. It was just rain. You hit a wall on lap 17. I saw the walls. You got some right front damage. You ended up in 33rd place. What would you have done differently that day to come out ahead? And what was your biggest takeaway from the street race in Chicago?
Yeah, I think the best thing I could have done in Chicago is not stuff it in the fence. Early on
the fences were full of water too.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a unique weekend. Unfortunately, all the rain that came, I mean, that stunk, and for everybody, not only us. I mean, for everyone wanting to see that race, all the events they had that Sunday around it, that just stunk. Some of that stuff got canceled, all the concerts and stuff, but. There were still a ton of people out there. I was really amazed at how many people still showed up after the monsoon we had there in Chicago, and I'm looking forward to going there next year in 24. I think it's going to be even better. I'm not going to lie, I was one of the people that was maybe a little bit skeptical of it when we first announced it, but once we got there and kind of saw everything and the layout and the people and the excitement, it was amazing. It was super, super neat, and looking forward to going there next year. Hopefully the city continues to embrace it and the people there enjoy it. And I know the teams are excited to get back there too.
Well, I'm so glad that you changed your mind because it was one of the best events I've ever been a part of or been able to see in Chicago. And I'm born and raised here. I'm a native. And that was just something just so cool to have right here on our lakefront. I'm looking forward to 2024. And I will tell you this, the people in Chicago loved it. People came out. You got a new audience. And because of that new audience that you got here, we're interested in seeing the races in other markets, and we're learning more and more about it. And you probably see that as you are, driving. You see new fans all the time.
I do, honestly, and our sport is a little different than other sports, right? I always kind of pinpoint like basketball, right? Because the crowd is super close to the court, right? And you're feeding off the crowd energy, and you can hear them a lot. And, in our sport, once we get in the cars, you don't hear the crowd. At other racetracks, you don't hear them. Everything's loud, and you're not really paying attention. But at Chicago, I found myself kind of peeking around the racetrack behind the wheel under caution and be like, there's just people everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. People were climbing on top of, the subway tunnels outside the track to get a view. And it was just super cool. And like I said, for us, as competitors, when you go to a new place like that, you're always kind of nervous on, man, are they going to accept us here? Are they going to have a good time? Are they going to enjoy themselves? And they did. And that makes us good make us feel good that we put on a good show. And you always want to put on a good race. As competitors, you want the racing to be exciting on the track, and you want the fans to see that as well. And I'm happy that everyone was able to experience it. And hopefully we get, some people who was, maybe it's their first time, in 24 at that track, or, some returning fans that was their first time in 23, that got hooked on the sport. So that's what it's all about. And you hope to just continue to keep grabbing those people.
Oh, they'll be back. I promise you that. My favorite thing you just said was that you were peeking over over the steering wheel during caution, checking out the fans, and you're checking out the scenery. That's great because I want you to be driving. Does your mind ever wander, in the course of a race? I know you're listening to everybody on the headphones, but do you just sometimes be like, and start thinking about something else?
Not very often. Sometimes under caution, right, when nothing's really going on, you can kind of wander a little bit. But once you're doing the task, right, and you're racing, you're just focused on your job, But yeah, under caution, you have some time to kind of peek around and kind of see it. And at Chicago, under caution, I mean, everything's right there. It's all really close quarters, and it was easy to see that stuff.
And you are in Nashville this week for the big Champions Week. I know there's lots of fan experiences and parade and the big awards ceremony. So what are you most looking forward to? Just being crowned champion?
Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of neat stuff going on. I love Nashville to begin with. But I think I'm most excited to get to the banquet tomorrow night, to see all our folks that are part of this team. They all come with their families and their spouses, and I can't wait to celebrate with all of them, because they're such a big part of it. Not only the people who travel on the road, but all their families too, that they sacrifice just as much, with their spouses being gone, 36, 38 times a year to the weekend. So I'm excited to see all them, and I think that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to this week.
And I just have to ask you, the holidays are coming up. Are you a good gift buyer? Do you know what to get people?
I feel like I'm okay. I just tell them, just tell me what you want me to get you, and I'll get it. You got to tell me. I'll get you whatever you want. You just got to tell me what you want.
And then are you wrapping the gifts?
I've actually gotten to be a good wrapper as I've gotten older. My gift wrapping skills have gotten a lot better.
Oh, nice.
So that part is, I don't know whether to be proud of that or not, but it's definitely gotten better with age. So that's good.
Yeah, you need to be proud of that, because the people here on the show, they need a gift wrapping lesson. So maybe Ryan Blaney comes in to not only show us how to drive a NASCAR, but also to show us how to wrap gifts. Thank you, Ryan Blaney, the driver of number 12 car for Team Penske and the NASCAR Cup Series Champion. Ryan Blaney, thank you so much for joining us on Creative Living.
Live better creatively. For more inspiration, visit janeklaus.com. Thank you for listening.